As entrepreneurs, we've hit big milestones, signed even dream clients, and then within hours, we're already chasing the next thing, the next goal, the next milestone. Maybe you felt it too. You celebrate it for a second, and then it's straight back to what's next? When is enough ever enough? Especially when you can scale your business to the moon. When is it enough? The truth is, you'll never really arrive. The goal's always gonna keep moving. So the real question becomes, how do you actually enjoy the process right where you stand today, while you're actively building towards your dreams? In this video, we're going to share 4 ways that we're actively learning to enjoy the building, enjoy the process, and not just focused on arriving to some destination or hitting some specific goal. So Steve, we were in the car and I asked you, when will enough ever be enough? If we could scale this business, for example, like we'll go through the lens of the business. If we could scale this business to the moon, when will it ever be enough? There's always another client. There's always another guest we could interview on the podcast. There's always something next.
Yeah.
So when will it be enough?
Yeah, and I think the answer is, to be honest, there's always that next mountain that you want to climb, right? There's always, you might be on one mountain, and you might look out and just be like, oh, there's another mountain up there. Look how tall that one is. I want to go there, and I want to climb that one. And I think the answer is, I don't think there ever will truly be enough. And if you live your life constantly chasing and thinking constantly in the future of, oh, I want to, get that person on my podcast, or I want to be in that rank, and I want to make that much money. Eventually, you might get there, yes, but then you get there and you're always going to look for that next thing that's higher.
Right.
And I think that's just honestly a part of the journey. I don't think there ever is an end, but I think what it is important is to actually be present in each mountain and each climb. And I think that's really where the real magic happens, is, being super present with the whole process, even the downs, love the downs, because there's going to be ups eventually.
Yeah, I think we've all heard the saying, life is about the journey, not the destination. And I feel like it's one of those like cliche phrases that until you actually experience that or start to wake up to the fact that, wow, there never will be a destination, that you kind of are forced into having to figure out another way, which is exactly what that phrase says. It's embodying and embracing the journey every step of the way, realizing the destination is always going to be moving. So I think we should jump into kind of like the 4 things that we're working to embody ourselves that might be able to help someone on the other side.
Yeah.
And I think number 1 is realizing enough. What comes up for you when we think about realizing enough?
Yeah, I was definitely that type of person that was like not in the moment, and I'm not 100% in the moment still. I'm working on it, honestly, every single day. But I was always that person that I just want to be there. I just want to get there.
You used to say that all the time.
Yeah, I just quite literally just wanted to fast forward. If I could fast forward, I used to tell myself this, if I could fast forward 5, 10 years of my life, I would. And it reminds me of the movie Click with Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I would love to be able to have that remote and just fast forward 5 years from now and just be there, and be in that mountain or whatever it is. But I truly believe that now something has shifted in the sense of, like, I love the journey. I fell in love with the journey. I was very much the one that was the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And I think the process of getting and falling in love with falling in love with the ups and the downs, it's not something you could just like train your brain into being like, oh, that's what I want to do. I think you just got to realize and slow down and be like, hey, this is like quite literally the process. And it's okay that we're not there yet. We know we're going to get there. You almost have to have that knowingness that you're going to get there eventually. But you're never going to be in this position where we are now, whether it's financially, whether it's life. And I think there's that saying too, like you look back, let's say if you went through college, and you're like, oh, those are the good old days. But when you're in college, you weren't like, oh, these are the good old days, because you had tests, you had life, you had things happening. And I think that's something we need to connect with more. Just being in the present moment and finding things that we love and what it is we have right now.
And for this to be coming out of this guy's mouth is insane because, Steve, I literally remember, even when we were living on Maui, I remember I was talking about the journey and even sharing podcast episodes of enjoying the journey in every single step to get to the destination. And I remember you even said something like, this is ridiculous. You're like, I think people who are enjoying the journey are brainwashed. Or like, you're like, I don't know what they're smoking. They're brainwashed onto something.
Yeah.
Because it's not about the journey. It's about just being like, I just want to wake up. I'm going to snap my fingers and I want to be there. And I just remember you. And I chuckled earlier because I'm like, I just remember you saying that like it was yesterday. And it wasn't. It was years ago.
Yeah.
But you did say that. And I think the craziest part for me is realizing like there's always going to be the next client. There's always going to be the next business venture, event, person you want to interview, thing you want to do with your kid. Like there's always going to be another thing. That's the whole purpose of life, is like always striving for your next goal. It really is. Like you're always going to have dreams. You're always going to have goals and ambitions. We're not saying not to have those things, but it's how do you enjoy, like you said, the process, the unfolding, like, and I think you're realizing too, like you can't just snap your fingers and have what you want because you're not the person that deserves it yet.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of that right now with what you're actively doing with school. And you've got to earn it. You earn that next step, then the next and the next. And it's fun when you lean into the unfolding of the process. That's where the magic is.
It is. It really is. And I truly believe, it's interesting because like if you're working a 9 to 5 right now, right? And you're just like, you get home and you're exhausted, you got life, and then you got to maybe work on the entrepreneur stuff in the background, right? And you're kind of like, you hate it, right? Maybe there's an aspect of you that just is like, I just want to be over with this. I want you to connect with, what is it in that day? You find something, maybe it's just one thing that you truly like, and if you're not doing anything you like, maybe you need to reevaluate some things. But I would really honestly audit, like, what is it, something that I truly love in that day, and make it more of a part of your day and do more of it.
Yeah, or if you're listening to this and you have a wildly successful business and you feel that, you're like, I just signed a massive deal this morning, but now look, by lunchtime I'm already getting on a call with another lead, another client. It can feel like this never-ending grind. And so I think the way that I would like to see you reframe this, or to try to reframe it, is realizing like, look, what I have now is already enough. Like literally, if nothing else shifted from the way things are today and things just remained, would I be happy? Is this enough? And probably yes, right? Like Steve, even if we didn't change anything about our life right now, there are so many people who come into our life for a moment and say like, you have something truly special that you've built here. From the land, to the simplicity of life, to the animals, to the location. For this being the backyard, there are so many people who would love this, and this is their goal. This is their next destination. And for us, if you're not careful, it's easy to always want the next and not realize you already have it. You already have it. It's just, have you stopped long enough and opened your eyes to realize it? Okay, so that was number one, is really realizing enough, which many times you'll realize you're already in it, you're already doing it. And what could be helpful, just to finalize that first step, is to look at a process that's gotten you to where you are today. What needed to unfold? What steps were you maybe not ready for day one that came day 30 that helped you get to where you are today? And starting to see that sequence of events could really be helpful in you seeing how it's unfolding now for what's coming next. Number two is really just celebrating the little wins, right? I think sometimes big wins are always what drive us forward. Yes, I think it's important to have goals. We operate in 12-week years, but there's so much value in realizing the little micro wins that help to get you to the big wins, or I think what more of us should pay attention to.
Yeah, just remembering the micro wins or get to the macro wins. And I think for us as humans, we're hard on ourselves. We're so hard on ourselves. And I think a way for you to get a little less hard on yourself is just honestly practice gratitude, right? You know this, a lot of you've heard this, but are you actually doing that? Are you spending 10 minutes a day just telling yourself all the things you're thankful for? And those little wins, you'll find them all throughout your day. You might not count them as little wins, but count that win. Count each and every little win as a success for that day. So
Yeah, like for example, if you're striving for 6-figure months in your business, don't make that the milestone that you celebrate when you get there. Celebrate creating a new SOP for your business, right? Helping a client hit one of their biggest months or their biggest milestones, and realizing those are what are gonna get you to the 6-figure months, because that means more referrals, more systems, more team members. It's all of the micro things that you're doing on the day-to-day that allow the next thing to be inevitable. It is a natural byproduct of the day-to-day things that you're doing every single day. Like, you should be able to zoom out and see that your big goal is a natural byproduct to the things that you're doing every day. And if it's not, and you're so hung up on the big goal that we're not focused on the day-to-day micro actions, then we're out of alignment. Okay, 3 is starting to redefine what the destination actually is.
I would say we all have it in our heads of we want to be there, right? But maybe we don't have a roadmap to get there. And I think when you think about redefining the destination, it's not about just being there, but it's like, what does it actually look like to get from A to maybe Z, right? I know it's a very long way, but there's a lot of steps, and there's a lot of things and moving parts that need to happen to get to that point. And in order to redefine it, it's like, okay, let's not look at Z right now. Let's look at B. How do I get from A to B? And once I get to A to B, let's get to C, right? And eventually we'll get to Z. But let's first focus on what's in front of us, because that's all we can do at that moment. We can't focus on all the way on Z, because maybe it's just not possible and realistic, and you're just going to be exerting a lot of energy where maybe there's going to be burnout as well. So I would say just look at it as just what is it right in front of you that you need to do that very day and accomplish that.
Yeah, I love that. Beautifully said. Yeah, and it's like if the destination is always moving, it's almost like your compass is always fixated on true north. And the destination is always true north. So your compass just always needs to be pointed in the right direction. And it's almost like you're holding it, it's like you're lost in a forest sometimes. Like, that's what it can feel like. You're lost in a forest, you're holding a compass, and all you need to do is just focus on the next step. And that's what I feel like, especially our Wednesdays, when you and I come together and we really figure out, like, okay, we connect back to the big vision, we know where we're going, we know our north. It's like, okay, what's the next step that we need to be focused on to actually get us there? And I'm constantly asking you all the time, which I think you, as more of the visionary, help me see this when I get in the weeds a little bit too much. I'll ask you, like, Steve, what's the most important thing that I should be focused on right now based on where we're going? I ask him that constantly. So if you don't have a buffer or a soundboard or like somebody else who's in this with you, you can journal that question for yourself, and you should ask yourself that constantly. It's like, what's the most important thing I should be focused on to actually hit my goal? And think of that as your next step in the right direction.
Yeah, and finding a mentor, right? I mean, having somebody, sometimes family is great, but a lot of the times they're not on the same journey as you, right? They're on a very different journey. They're on a fixed journey. And you're not, right? You're most likely, if you're watching this, you're on a very much of a growth journey. You're wanting to improve in some way. You know, find somebody that also resonates with that can hold you accountable. And I think that's really important. Don't just find anyone, but find somebody that's going to be, really helping you big time.
Back to redefining the destination, there's so many times that we'll dance around the house, be super excited about this new business thing.
Yeah.
Because we're celebrating the micro wins every step. It's fun.
Yeah.
And you realize, like, each little stepping stone is a part of such a large road that you're building. And it's so cool.
Yeah. It is.
Right? Okay, so number 4, last but not least, is finding joy in the process. And I think that leads very beautifully into that. What are some ways that you are finding joy in the process?
I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but, obviously celebrating the small wins, but also not even just the small wins, but creating momentum. I think a lot of times people give up, and some people are like, oh, how are you so consistent? I think that's obviously a key to success. Of course, a lot of us know this. But if it wasn't for the wins, and if it wasn't for the momentum, and if it wasn't for me celebrating the little wins here and there, I mean, it would be so much easier just to give up, because it's just not working. It's not feeling like we're not going anywhere. It's like we're stagnant, right?
And we felt that quite a few times before, but that's where we re-ask ourselves that question, and like, it's almost like at that point your compass is a little broken. You
No,
need to
it's
like
not
just
giving you a direct reading.
reestablish. Yeah.
So how to find joy in the journey? You know, I think for me personally, if it wasn't for me, you know, going into my visualizations every day and having this gratitude of what I do have, right? Because it's very easy to be like, I don't have this, I don't have that. And I definitely don't have a lot of things that I would like already. But I know there's like this knowingness, right, inside of all of us, that we know it's coming, especially if we're taking the action, we're doing the work. We know that it's coming, it's just a matter of time. But ultimately finding those wins, getting the momentum, that is the most important part. And if you can't find momentum, create it. Find a way to create it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it goes back to like the 80-20 rule. 80% is progress and consistency, and then the other 20% is those milestones that you're going to achieve every step of the way. And I feel like sometimes people think it's the opposite. They think it almost should be a milestone every day, or like a small win every day. And it depends how micro you're going here, but I think it's leaning into the 80%, realizing that that's what's going to create the results that you want. Like, you're huge on consistency, and you speak about it a lot. And so I think it's focusing and honing in on that 80% and knowing what to do in that that's gonna lead, like we said before earlier in this episode, it's like, what are the 80% of inputs that are naturally gonna make your goal and your destination just a natural byproduct? So guess what? Stop fucking focusing on it. Realize that that's gonna happen anyway. Buy the 80% inputs. So you might as well have fun along the way, realizing that that's going to happen. So if you're living there for that thing, we're not going to wake up and enjoy the moment that we're in right now, which is the whole freaking point.
Yeah, so if you're, I believe like the visualizations, but also living in the moment, right? Living, you know, like as if you're in that future self now, I think is really important as well. And having that mindset and carrying that with you, right? Like for us, you know, maybe it's wearing nice clothes, and it's eating out, and knowing that, you know, hey, maybe the restaurant that I'm at now, I could see myself eating here every single night if I wanted to at some point. And I think that's where I'm like, that's what you want to connect to as well, is kind of like living in that life and that time right now. It's really important.
Yeah, even if it's just for moments of time. I think that's what you're alluding to, is like, even if it's just a 30-minute experience where you're going to go pull up your laptop at a really cool resort, then go do that. Put yourself in that environment where you strive to be like in the future all the time, but get glimpses of it now. Like one of our clients, her whole rebrand was all about having a luxury retreat for your business. And she put herself in that luxury retreat that she modeled her branding afterwards to film the welcome video for her school community. Because she's like, I want to embody this environment. I want to feel like that highest class version of myself. And so she put herself in that place to do her filming, because she knew that would be her best way to really embody what she was building, was putting herself in that scene. And so, like what Steve's saying, if you look around and your clothes don't feel like the version of you you're stepping into in that destination that's always moving, by the way, how can we bring that in now? Call that in now. Upgrade things. Upgrade your clothes, upgrade your car. Like, look, we have a Jeep Gladiator right now, and we got into that, and we we're like, look, this thing feels a little bit too dirty and playful right now for us of where we're going. We want to bring more class into this. We want to upgrade our experience. We didn't want to go buy a new vehicle. We're always getting new cars. Like every 2 years, I feel we get a new vehicle. So like, we don't want to do that again. We want to just upgrade what we have. We have this structure. How can we upgrade it? And so Steve has gone and ordered things and made upgrades to our Jeep, and now it feels like an entirely different vehicle. And by the way, it didn't even like financially cost that much to do it. It was just a mindset shift that was required. And so like your shirt, you just got that shirt like a month ago because you realized like, I don't have enough clothes where I could feel like I could go in and choose good outfits for film. So he upgraded his wardrobe. Like, just upgrades. Micro upgrades that make you feel a type of way when you put it on, for example.
And ultimately, if like, obviously, like, okay, so like in 5 years, I'm going to be there. I'm going to start wearing the clothes there. I'm going to start going to that restaurant in 5 years. I'm going to start having maybe that car in 5 years. But I encourage you to look at what you can do right now. And it really, if it's cost, it really doesn't cost that much. So make the shift there. But also ultimately start living and being in that energy of that 5 years ago or 5 in the future self now. how can I start incorporating that now? How can I start having that mindset? And how do I, if I don't like when people speak to me a specific way, start changing that now, right? Because you get to make that choice and create that ultimately.
Yeah, that version of you who's already living that reality that you see now as your goal, they were developed because of the micro shifts that you're making today. They're available to you right now. It's just, are you gonna let them in? Or are you gonna keep your old ways, your old habits, your old clothes, your old everything? Or are you gonna release and delete and shed anything that's not in alignment with where you're going? It's like, back to the compass analogy, you've got the compass, you're taking step by step, you're gonna lose some literal, it might be like clothes, it might be literal weight.
Yeah.
You need to be okay leaving things on your journey and picking up new things that are aligned with where you're going. And it's constantly asking yourself that question and allowing yourself to make those upgrades.
Yeah, and honestly too, like what got you here won't get you there. So there's something that needs to shift. Maybe it's your peers, maybe it's who you're hanging out with.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not, stop going out Fridays and Saturday nights and spending your time, your long nights going out. There needs to be something that you need to give up and let go in order to allow something else in. And that's something as well that I would recommend finding that for yourself. Maybe it's just one thing you can change.
I think what's coming up for me right now to summarize like this, basically this whole idea and concept that we're talking about, enjoying the journey, not the destination, is really realizing like the only difference between where you physically sit today and fast forward however long it takes, 3 years, 5 years, to what you see as your current goal being manifested into your reality. The only difference there is you have allowed yourself to become the person who already has it. That version of you exists inside of you today, which is why they're telling you this is your goal, right? You wouldn't see something as your goal if you didn't actively believe that you could hit it. So you do believe it. It's just, are you going to let yourself have it? And are you going to let yourself become the version of you that needs to come through in order to actually make it happen? Because you can make those micro shifts today. You can enjoy the process today. And back to what you were saying, little nugget there, most of you could have what you want today already. You're probably making enough money to afford hiring the person you've been putting off hiring, or to upgrade your wardrobe, or to upgrade your vehicle. You probably have enough money to do it. But we're not allowing ourselves to because we're holding on to the past. But the past isn't what's going to get us there.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I talk to clients about that all the time. I'm like, guys, you have enough. Why are you still not allowing yourself to have the thing that you want? It's really interesting.
Yeah.
I think you just have to it's kind of like you with the Jeep. Like, what do you feel like was that moment in time where you're like, enough is enough. I'm just going to do it. I need to just do it. Because someone could sit for years not making the upgrades to the Jeep. So what made you, do you remember the moment where you were like, this is it, I'm just going to fucking do it, and I'm going to stop waiting?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to, how much longer can I continue on with, getting into this, for instance, getting into this Jeep and being like, I could use some upgrades in here. And also, maybe it's just getting actually on the website or whatever it is that you're buying from or whatever it is, and just literally just pulling the trigger and just do it, that one thing, and commit. And then the next thing, right? And then it starts adding up, and then you're like, holy Chrisnats, I have a whole new Gladiator, and I ordered maybe 20 things, and it's like a completely different truck.
Yeah.
But I think it really just starts with how much longer can you continue being in this state, in this energy of like, okay. Like, I think there just comes a point where you just get sick of it, and you're just like, I need to do something. And that's action, right? So you get clear, then you take action.
Yeah, and one thing I want to highlight that you just said that I think is really, really important is you just go to the website and order something. Like, let's say you want to redo your entire vehicle or your entire home. You want to remodel your whole home.
Yeah.
Start by ordering new silverware. Start by ordering new napkins. Order something small. I don't really give a shit how much it costs. It could be $5, it could be $500. I don't care. Order something, because that something leads to the next thing, which leads to the next thing. And then before you know it, your entire home has been remodeled. And you're like, wow, that was easy. Because it probably costs less than you think. It's probably simpler than you think, but you're holding back because of resistance of how much work you think it's going to take to actually get to your destination. But if you just do it, once again, one thing at a time, one step at a time, this is like for everything in life, this is what this is for. It's like just do one little micro thing, and that puts you on the journey. Versus like, how many people do you know, and we don't have to like name names, but like they've wanted something in their life for years and never done a goddamn thing about it. And they're sitting in the same seat 5-10 years. Like I can think of people that I know from
so many people
from my childhood, and it's like you've been sitting in the same place doing the same thing year after year after year, and every time I go back and visit or go back and have this conversation, it's like, I want this thing. It's like, well, then you haven't changed a thing to get it. It's crazy to me.
No, and nothing's going to change
unless you make a decision.
Unless you make it. And I think ultimately that's like, nobody else is going to come and save you, right? Nobody's going to come and with a cape and be like, hey, you deserve this beautiful life, here you go. Like, it's just not going to happen.
And give you the destination.
Yeah,
like, no.
It's not going to happen, and ultimately you need to make that decision. It comes from a decision, but before the decision, maybe there's some clarity there. Yeah. But then you ultimately need to make a decision.
I think clarity is number one.
Yeah, clarity is definitely always number one.
Because if you don't have clarity, then good luck even knowing where your compass is going to point.
But then it's a decision to be like, yeah, I don't want this anymore. I don't deserve this. I don't want to live like this anymore. I need to get out of this state, whatever it is. And the decision needs to be something where you hold yourself accountable. Yeah. And if you're lying to yourself, say you make a decision in the past, maybe it's going to the gym. You're like, I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week, and I'm going to get in great shape. And then next week comes and you wake up late, and your decision, you're actually lying to yourself. So also not, ultimately lying to yourself when you do make that decision, and be somebody that's, if you make a decision, go all in on it.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, even if you don't have clarity on the next goal, the next thing, I'd encourage you to get it as quickly as possible. But I also think it's cool if you just start fucking it up and figuring it out. Like, if you don't know ultimately what your goal is, like, I think we can think of people right now, it's like they don't have clarity on what they want, but start just taking steps. And maybe it might be this way. It's the wrong way. You're going this way, and that is not the direction you're supposed to be going. It's okay, at least you got yourself into action. Now, hopefully you can course correct quickly if you're meant to go this way, and you can course correct and you can start taking steps in the right direction. But if you just are stagnant, not taking steps at all, I think that's almost the worst thing you could possibly do to being active on this journey. Like, you just have to start taking steps and then hope that you could be aware enough to realize that the steps are in the wrong direction and course correct. And I think that's one thing, Steve, that we are mastering, is constantly taking steps.
Yeah.
Like, we're like, you know what, we might fuck this up today, but we've at least taken steps forward.
Yeah, and then to be honest, just kind of paint the picture out, like in a few weeks, years, months, whatever it is, it just becomes something you just do.
Yeah.
Right? You can't it's almost like you just can't undo this discipline that you built for yourself. So just let you guys know too, I think getting started is definitely going to be the hardest. Then maybe a few months down the line it's a little bit tricky, but then it's just like you're just programmed at that point. That's just what you do.
Yeah.
Like, that's just who you are.
Yeah, and I feel like no matter at what level you are in this, I think everybody could get to a point where they're feeling a little bit stagnant. It's just, what are you going to do with that to get back up?
Yeah.
When you fall, you get back up and you keep going. Anything else you want to say as we wrap up the process episode from today?
Yeah, I guess just kind of just framing it all together. This whole episode really is about, just ultimately just, like the journey. And I've been so disconnected from the journey. I've been screw the journey, right? I've had the mindset of just the worst of the worst when it comes to the journey. I'm like, I hate the journey. I just want to hit the lotto or whatever it is and just be there. I just want the fast track. But when you start really falling in love with the process and ultimately, like, honestly enjoying the losses, because at the end of the day, that's what makes us human, right? We're not perfect. And I think the losses is something I personally connect with because I learn from them. And I think that's the challenges that you face and just things in general. It's like, if it wasn't for the losses, I wouldn't be who I am today. And I wouldn't be who I am going to be in 5 years, 10 years from now. So I think realizing, the losses are for you, and it's a learning lesson. And it's what you do in those losses. You could be defeated and just, throw in the towel and just say, I'm done. That's one thing you can do. Or you can actually lean into the loss and be like, how can I actually do the thing and make it so I don't lose next time? And what lesson am I getting from this ultimately?
Yeah. I feel like the challenge, like that's how I would summarize this whole thing, is starting to embrace the challenges, realizing that without them, you won't become the person that you need to be when you get to the next there. And I think to summarize, it's realizing every step, it's almost like you're climbing this mountain, and you use this a little bit in the beginning. You're climbing a mountain with every single goal. When you reach the top of that mountain, aka hit that goal, what's going to reveal itself to you is a whole other range of mountains that you didn't see before, because you were probably so focused on the journey that you're on that you maybe didn't stop long enough to realize, oh shit, there's like a lot of other choices here. It's that dedication and commitment to the mountain that you're on, getting to the top, and then seeing what opportunities open up to you, and then asking yourself, look, what's next? What's the next mountain that we're going to go tackle? But it's having that mindset that you build and you cultivate now, step by step, that helps you get to the next there. But it's each step of the climb. A climber is never going to just say like, hey, I just do this just to hit the summit. Like, that's a big part of it. That's a huge milestone.
Yeah.
But it's the process of climbing that they fall in love with. And that's what you're meant to fall in love with too, is your process in every step of the climb. Cool. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're actively building your own empire, taking your business to the moon, you don't need to do it alone. We have a community called Magnetic Memberships, and inside you'll have a full-blown community of other people who are going through probably similar struggles to you, where we're all working to embrace the journey, embrace the challenges, and even share those challenges and those wins, even the micro ones, together in a safe space. If that feels like something that you're called to join us into, we'll put the link below this video and we'll be able to welcome you inside.
Yeah. See you inside.